Subaru Natsuki, a boy who probably thought he was finally teleported to another world by a god and would have magic powers, but didn't realize it's probably the worst thing he could have asked for. As Subaru steps into a convenience store, he has no idea that his life is about to be turned upside down. He grabs a pack of nattus for 363 yen, and out of nowhere, he starts hearing ominous voices warning that someone is going to die, assuming it's just his overworked mind playing tricks on him after a long day of gaming. He dismisses the voices and rubs his eyes. Suddenly, a shadowy figure materializes, and in an instant, Subaru is thrust into a completely new existence. Subaru, more interested in video games, takes a while to understand what is happening. He finds himself in a magical world like my uncle's basement, though his decision-making remains questionable. As he moves through the town, he sees a big carriage about to run over a lady. Subaru, thinking he should try his newfound magic powers that was given to him in this world, which is called the ultimate BS, which is ultimately nothing. Just then, a savior steps in and rescues the lady. Subaru then visits a fruit shop but can't read the signs and offers money from his previous world, which the shopkeeper tells him to move his useless self along. Next, he tries to enter a restaurant reserved for demi-humans and gets thrown out. He falls into the water, soaking his clothes, and waits for the girl who summoned him, which again is ultimately nobody. On the rooftops, a girl is running from building to building. While Subaru is still wondering where his leveling system is or some special powers, some thugs decide to confront and mess with him. Suddenly, a girl walks past them, thinking she's the girl who summoned him, but she runs through, leaving Subaru alone with the thugs. Desperate to see his potential in this new world, Subaru hits them, which I will admit, he had some powers behind that kick. But he indeed found out he was not the main character. Amid the chaos, a girl appears and uses magic from the parallel world to confront the bad guys. She summons a talking cat, terrifying the thugs, who flee. The girl, who was desperate to find her stolen item, decided to help Subaru because her cat insisted. Upon waking up, Subaru finds himself in a cat's lap and tells the girl about a girl who stole her insignia but can't remember the details. She decides to find the thief, and Subaru insists on helping the mysterious girl. They search the town, asking many people but finding no leads. Instead, they find a little girl crying. The girl stops to help, asking where her mother is, as Subaru shows the girl a magic trick, making her happy and leading them to her mother. After reuniting the girl with her mother, they stand on a rooftop, introducing themselves, as Subaru introduces himself as a broke, lost person like yourself,
emotional damage,
who reveals he is from a town to the east, which she says doesn't exist. The cat introduces themselves as Puck, a spirit. She notices Subaru's hands and guesses he comes from a prestigious family. When Subaru asks for her name, she says her name is Saddle, shocking Puck. Saddle says she is a half-elf, and Subaru compliments her beauty, pleasing her. They resume their search for the insignia, starting at the fruit shop where it was stolen. The shopkeeper tells them about a thief girl named Felt, who lives in the slums. In the slums, they see terrible conditions. As the sun sets, Puck says it's time for her to leave and bids them goodbye. Subaru awkwardly mentions he's never been alone with a girl since school, but Saddle warns him to keep any foul ideas to himself, reminding him she can use magic. Determined to find Felt, Saddle summons half-spirits, who form glowing circles around her, ready to aid in their search. Subaru and Saddle move forward in the dark street, darker than Subaru's own life. Subaru worries if the thief girl, Felt, lives there as it becomes lonelier and darker. Saddler reassures him, saying that a half-spirit indicated Felt is coming from that direction. A strange man meets them on the way. Subaru asks if a girl lives nearby, but the man mentions an old man in the next lot and suggests they talk to him if Felt stole something. Subaru offers to negotiate with the old man first, and after a brief discussion, Saddle agrees. Entering the old man's house, Subaru sees a lot of stolen items. As he shines a light on the floor, he sees a big dead man covered in blood. A voice from behind says, "If you've seen this, there's no way out." Subaru is hit from behind and falls to the floor. Saddle's dumbass enters later and also gets hit on the head. Subaru, trying to protect her, suddenly finds himself back in front of the Apple's dude shop. Determined, he goes to find Saddle on the way. He encounters the three bad guys, Larry, Mo, and Curly, and this time he beat the absolute dog out of them. He visits the old man's house once again and finds the man alive. Confused, Subaru asks if the man had died earlier, but the old man thinks Subaru is crazy like our exes. Subaru asks about the insignia, and the old man, Rom, mentions that Felt might have it and that she will arrive soon. Subaru stands outside, muttering to himself as Felt arrives. She doesn't recognize him at first, but he calmly reveals he's been waiting for her. After exchanging a secret code with Rom, Felt leads Subaru into the house, where Rom offers him some milk. She then unveils the prized insignia, which Subaru immediately desires, but Felt insists on a fair price. With no money to offer, Subaru proposes trading his cell phone, a rare artifact from his world, and demonstrates its capabilities by snapping a photo of Felt and Rom, capturing the moment. Despite the impressive display, Felt explains that she still needs to consult her employer before making any decisions. Just then, a wonderful pretty girl named Elsa walks in and questions who the stranger in the room is. Felt tells her that Subaru is her rival in terms of bidding and makes everyone sit and bid for the insignia. Elsa, prepared, adds more coins to the offer. Rom deems 20 coins too low, and Subaru wins with the phone. Elsa, suspicious, asks Subaru's intentions. When Subaru dumbass says he'll return the insignia to its owner, Elsa attempts to do an attack that Subaru couldn't even see, but Felt saves him. Rom with his big muscles attempts to attack her, but long story short, he got the Toji special. Felt feeling rage, promises to kill her psychopathic ass no matter the cost, and yeah, that fight ended before it even started. Finally, Subaru, deciding to prepare himself, summons all the power of being a main character and attempts to fight her. In a somewhat admiring moment, Subaru manages to hit her with a kick, but still got himself sliced. So once again, his powers of being the main character is ultimate BS. As he fades away, Subaru wakes up standing in front of the shopkeeper. Collapsing, the shopkeeper takes him to the shade. When Subaru awakens, he runs to find Sadala. But as he found her, she turns away, saying she doesn't know him, and in an irritated tone questions why is he her by the name of a jealous cursed witch. She scolds Subaru for calling her by the witch's name. Subaru, being clueless, just gets scolded by the beautiful half-elf once again. Meanwhile, Felt spots Sadala. As Sadala turns to leave, Felt runs toward her and steals her insignia. Sadala, thinking that Subaru must have been with the girl and they planned all this. But before he could reason with her, she chases after her. Subaru, now alone, babbles about the parallel world as he walks into an alley. There, he meets these thugs for like the third time already. He tries to walk by them, but this time they drive a dagger through his stomach, and the thugs argue about who stabbed him while Subaru lies there, bleeding. Subaru notices a packet of chips and realizes Rom had eaten them, yet they are intact now. It's at this moment he finally understands the world. Every time he dies, he will restart where the last checkpoint is saved, which is chosen randomly, and he doesn't know what his last checkpoint is. He decides to call it Return by Death. Subaru walks down the road, noting that this world is filled with tough people, but there are also good-hearted ones. He remembers Puck helping him, Sadala's kindness, and how Felt and Rom died for him. He recalls how Sadala helped the lost child. Ahead, he sees a couple walking with their kid, smiles on their faces. A tomato slips and gets smashed, spilling juice all over the road. Subaru sees this and says he cannot live peacefully. He returns to the shopkeeper, who is tired of Subaru's empty pockets and stupid questions. Subaru asks if there have been any robberies. The man doesn't recall any, but remembers a strange event where some guys used magic to produce icicles on a wall that disappeared quickly. Subaru takes note and runs away. In the alley, he encounters the thugs again. Literally again for I don't even know how many times, and before they can hit ass, he literally starts screaming in a girl's voice. Suddenly, a master of the sword named Reinhardt appears. Realizing who he is, the thugs run away as soon as Reinhardt speaks to them. Subaru introduces himself and thanks Reinhardt for his help. Reinhardt asks if he can help further, and Subaru asks to come to the loot house but tells him never mind and asks him to send a message to a silver-haired girl. Later in the series, I'm going to show just how powerful Reinhardt is, so make sure to stay tuned. Subaru goes to find Felt, asking a man about her den and where she stays at. The man tells him that he doesn't have a clue but advises him to stay strong. On the way, he accidentally bumps into Elsa, causing him to remember what she did to him in another timeline, but attempts to play it off. However, she tells him that she can sense his fear alongside his anger for whatever reason. As Subaru attempts to still play it off, she tells him to conceal your hostility, and you'll be better. Subaru nearly panics, but then she leaves. At Felt's den, he searches for her but finds only trash. Felt suddenly appearing, expects him to a robber and attacks him, and while dodging her, Subaru says he just wants to talk. Felt is curious about how he knows her name, but she hits him, and her den gets destroyed. She's about to finish him when Subaru says he wants to buy the insignia she stole. They discuss a fair price, and Subaru offers his cell phone, explaining that it's mecha and can capture moments. Felt is skeptical and refuses to be conned. Subaru, thinking that it's really no way out of this besides going back to that place once again, tells Felt to hurry up and begin on their way. As they are near a bridge, Felt tells Subaru that she won't remain in this snoppy place forever like the rest of these people. Subaru smiles and pats her head, determined to make sure they get out in one piece. They show Rom the picture, and he's impressed, noting that the mecha could easily sell for at least 20 coins. Subaru, pleased with the deal, suggests they celebrate and quickly get out of there.
に急いでんだ。
However, Felt grows suspicious, wondering why Subaru is in such a rush. She accuses him of being involved with some secret group. Unable to hide the truth any longer, Subaru admits he plans to return the insignia to its rightful owner. Felt, however, refuses to believe him, convinced there's no way that's true. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Subaru tries to stop Felt from opening it, fearing for their lives, but Sadala walks in calmly, assuring them she would never do such a thing. Sadala asks for her insignia back, saying it's very important to her. She reveals some crystals, surprising Rom as she reveals she's half-elf. Sadala again asks for the insignia, but Felt is stubborn. Subaru steps in, asking Felt to return it. Felt is surprised Subaru is helping Sadala, and Sadala is amazed at his kindness. Subaru has only ever had one beautiful lady in his life, who sadly doesn't respect him. As they all engage in a fruitless conversation, Subaru notices Elsa about to rock the dog out of saddle and yells Puck to shield her. Luckily, it was before 5 o'clock, which meant Puck was still awake and protect her.
なんだよ。パク、防げ。助かったよ。
Elsa declares she'll slaughter them all to get the insignia. Since the original owner is here, it doesn't look like talking is going to work out. She also remarks that cutting open a spirit's stomach will be a rare tasteful spectacle. Subaru scolds Elsa for killing people for such silly reasons, and for once, the idiot has a point. Elsa then starts attacking, but Sadala defends everyone. Puck also attacks Elsa, but she's too skilled and dodges every trick. Eventually, Puck gets sleepy and vanishes. Elsa lands her first hit on Sadala. Rom sees the chaos and suggests they should run, but instead, he attacks Elsa. She dodges and injures Rom. Felt attacks next, but Elsa is too powerful. Subaru tells Felt to run while he fights Elsa. Elsa vows not to let Felt escape alive. Subaru uses his brain for once and hits Elsa, allowing Felt to escape. He thinks, wow, using my brain actually works sometimes. The fight continues with Sadala fighting Elsa with strong attacks. Subaru joins, knowing if he dies, he'll have to start over. Elsa hits him, and Sadala continues fighting. Suddenly, they hear a voice, it's Reinhard, coming to help. Felt had run for help and found him. Elsa is amazed but still attacks Reinhard. Meanwhile, Sadala helps Rom, saying she can heal him. As Reinhard fights Elsa, Sadala heals Rom. Reinhard showcases his sword skills, burning everything in his path. Subaru is amazed and thinks Reinhard really knows how to light up a room. He then finds Sadala standing strong. Reinhard says they should thank their friend for calling him. As they stand there, a weakened Elsa attacks again, but Reinhard saves them. Elsa retreats, warning them to take care of their bowels because she'll be back. Subaru tells Sadala he protected her, so they're even. He asks for her name, and she smiles, saying it's Emilia. Subaru is happy with her smile and name as his reward. He thanks Reinhard for saving them. Reinhard is surprised Subaru isn't hurt. Subaru reveals his protection was cut in half. Moments later, a cut appears on his stomach, and he falls, covered in blood. Reinhard asks Emilia if he can take Subaru with him, but she insists on taking care of him. Emilia asks Reinhard about Felt. He says he's off duty and won't charge her for stealing. They go to Felt, and Emilia asks if Rom is her only family member. Felt says she has another family member who always sleeps at important moments. Felt returns the insignia to Emilia, but Reinhard grabs her hand, saying she's coming with him. Subaru opens his eyes in an unfamiliar bed, staring at a ceiling he doesn't recognize. He thinks he's come back by death again. Getting out of bed, he wanders outside and finds himself in a big hallway. He walks into a room and meets a cute little girl who isn't very friendly. Being his usual talkative self, Subaru asks the girl where he is and what this place is. The girl, agitated, tells him he's interrupting Betty's personal time. Subaru, trying to lighten the mood, asks her to smile, which only agitates her more, and she shocks him. He falls to the ground, wondering why she can't be nicer. The girl explains she was just checking if he was an enemy. Subaru wakes up on the bed again and realizes it's the second time he's come back by death. He thinks maybe all he has to do is sleep to return by death. Suddenly, he hears two girls whispering about how stupid he is. Subaru sees them and admires how delicate they look. They're twin maids, talking in a synchronized manner.
これも悪くない。俺のキャパシティなめんなよ。二人まとめて妄想の餌食だぜ。
Emilia then enters the room wearing a pink gown, surprising Subaru with how good it looks on her. She asks the twin maids not to disturb the guest. They go to the garden, and Subaru is impressed by the mansion's size and many gardens. In the garden, he warms up and then Puck arrives. Subaru pets Puck lovingly, and Puck enjoys it. The twin maids inform Emilia that Mr. Roswell has arrived. Inside, they meet Betty again, who is only interested in Puck. Mr. Roswell arrives and thanks Beatrice for dining with them, but she ignores him. Subaru jokes, asking if they hire a clown every time before they eat. Roswell introduces himself as the owner of the manor. At the dining table, Subaru enjoys the food and asks who made it. Rem tells him she did, boasting about her cooking skills. Subaru jokes that she must not be good at other household stuff, but Rem confidently says she's good at everything. Roswell explains how the kingdom is struggling without a king and they need to elect a new one. He respects Emilia for being a candidate, which confuses Subaru until Emilia explains she is running for king, and that the insignia was her stamp. Subaru asks how she could lose something so important and if the government could issue another insignia. Roswaal says they can't let the government know because it would cancel Emilia's candidacy. Subaru realizes he saved something very valuable and jokes that he deserves any reward he wants. Roswaal agrees, and Subaru asks to be hired at the mansion. Rin and Rem take him to get a butler's suit, but it's oversized, so Rem takes it to alter it. As they tour the mansion, they find Beatrice playing with Puck. When Subaru interrupts, she throws him away. Rem explains that Beatrice takes care of Roswaal's library, which holds many dangerous books. They start working, and Subaru tries to stitch his suit but doesn't do well with the chores. He wonders why Emilia hasn't given him a tour, but Rem ignores his comment. At night, Roswaal asks the maid if she sees Subaru's potential. He believes Subaru has potential. In the garden, Subaru and Emilia chat about random things. Subaru tells her how important it was to know her name. Emilia notices cuts on his fingers, and he explains they're from various chores. He jokingly asks if she'll go with him to take revenge, and she agrees, but only if it doesn't interfere with her studies. Subaru stays up all night, excitedly planning where to take Emilia.
どうして
Subaru wakes up to find Ram and Rem standing around him, making him confused if he had died once again. Subaru could never play hide and seek because he always ends up playing life and death. He realizes that if he had died, there would be no previous day and no promise from Emilia. He runs out of the room and enters Betty's place. Betty scolds him for entering without asking, just like the previous time. Subaru gets excited because Betty remembers him, meaning there's no return by death this time. He thinks nothing can compare to the stupidity of this man. Outside, he meets Emilia, who asks if he's alright. Subaru says he's perfectly fine. Emilia explains that Betty used magic on him while he was sleeping. After that, he goes inside to put on the best suit for going outside. However, the maid asks him to help with household chores. Later, while taking a bath in the pool, Roswaal comes in and suggests bathing together. Subaru, feeling awkward, leaves quickly, thinking, well, that escalated quickly. At the door, he meets Ram, who is bringing Roswaal's undies. She warns him not to disrespect Mr. Roswaal but asks him to be ready for tonight. At night, Subaru waits for her in his room. When she arrives, he declares that his heart belongs only to Emilia. The maid laughs and calls him naive. She then starts teaching him how to read and write. Subaru learns his lessons, and in the laundry area, he notices many suits for Emilia and Roswaal but none for the maid. He asks if he can stitch a suit for her, but she says she only wears the maid uniform. Subaru insists, thinking it would make her happy, but Rem declines and questions why he has any issue with her and her sister. Subaru starts working with the twin maids. He's not good at anything but tries his best. He notices that Rem is very skilled while Ram just follows her. Ram tells Subaru that his hair isn't well trimmed and suggests letting Rem cut it. Ram asks Rem if she wants to cut his hair, and she agrees. Later, while Subaru is working, Rem apologizes for her earlier comments and offers to help. Subaru agrees on the condition that she cuts his hair. Subaru tells Rem that he has planned to take Emilia on a date, but first, he needs to deal with the kids who bother him and find nice locations for them to visit. While playing with the kids in the field, Subaru gets bitten by a critter. Rem asks if he's alright, and they return to the mansion. That night, Emilia visits Subaru, and he proudly tells her that he can now read and write. His goal is to read a storybook next. Subaru asks Emilia for a date, but she doesn't understand what a date is. She worries that visiting the village might create problems for him, but the love-struck Subaru insists. He tells her about the kids in the village who make fun of him and wants Emilia to join him in taking revenge. Emilia agrees, but only if it doesn't interfere with her studies for the royal selection. Subaru gets excited to hear this. Emilia tries to say something to him but leaves the sentence incomplete, leaving Subaru curious. Subaru wakes up in the morning and starts screaming, scaring the twin sister maids. He quickly realizes he died and somehow returned back, so he apologizes to the twins and heads outside. He enters Betty's room and starts babbling, while Betty is visibly displeased by his presence. She tells him not to come to her room without permission, but he completely ignores her and asks her for tea. Betty, too proud to oblige, refuses. He then asks what she is reading, and she replies that it's a magic book on how to get rid of bugs. Subaru jokes that it's bad she has bugs in the library, but Betty just tells him to leave. Subaru persists, asking for tea again, but Betty shoos him away. Subaru thinks her shoo means she's actually trying to find a way to get rid of him. Betty pushes him down before he can do anything else. Then, Emilia comes to see him, but he is covered in manure. Subaru is happy to see her, but Emilia explains that Rem just spread manure there. Subaru leaves the area, and Emilia brings out Puck, who uses water and air magic to clean Subaru, leaving him wet. They sit in the garden, where Subaru and Puck start playfully fighting, making Emilia laugh. Both Puck and Subaru praise her smile. Subaru asks Puck why he couldn't clean him in another way, to which Puck replies that this way pleases him. The maids inform them that Mr. Roswaal has returned. Subaru notes that it's the third time he's meeting him. He explains he wants to stay at the mansion to gather information. He checks all the rooms but finds nothing unusual. When he goes back to Betty, she's agitated to see him again.
Yo!
Subaru asks if there's a way to kill someone during sleep. Betty explains there are some methods and takes out a magic book. She also mentions she healed him when he was wounded. Subaru doubts her, believing Emilia saved him, but Betty insists that Emilia doesn't have such strong healing powers. Subaru makes notes of his days at the mansion and everything that has happened. A maid offers him tea, and Subaru mentions how much he enjoys studying and can now read storybooks. He reads the story of the Red Ogre and Blue Ogre to her. In the story, the Red Ogre wants to be friends with the villagers, who are scared of ogres. The Blue Ogre suggests a plan. The Red Ogre will help the villagers while the Blue Ogre causes havoc. The plan works, but the Blue Ogre starts avoiding the Red Ogre. One day, the Red Ogre visits his friend's house and finds a note saying the Blue Ogre won't be coming back. The Red Ogre cries after reading the letter. Rem comments that every character in the story was stupid and tells Subaru not to share it with Ram, as she won't like it. Subaru then reads about a witch called the Jealous Witch. He thanks Roswell for letting him stay at the mansion, joking that he's like a guest who never pays any bills, but stays for months. Now he's leaving, and Emilia offers to call a carriage for him, but Subaru insists on going by himself. He heads to the forest and sits on a mountain with a clear view of Emilia's room, holding a dagger. He waits for something to happen, and after a while, he hears a sound and realizes Rem is attacking him. Subaru stands in front of Rem, noticing ropes spread around. He asks her why she's doing this, and she responds that anyone who can harm Emilia must be eliminated. Subaru asks if her sister knows about this, but Rem ignores his question. She attacks him, but Subaru takes out his phone and snaps some photos. He pushes Rem away and tries to run, but he doesn't get far before falling and injuring his leg. Crying in pain, Rem arrives and heals him, saying if he dies too easily, she won't get any valuable information from him. She interrogates him, asking who he works for. Subaru insists that Emilia is very valuable to him. She then asks if he works for the witch's cult, but Subaru denies any knowledge of it. He desperately tries to make her remember him, but she doesn't. He tells her he likes both sisters and recalls how she used to cut his hair. Rem coldly cuts his throat, saying her sister is too kind.
いつでもエミリアエミリアです
Subaru wakes up trembling with fear. Emilia is sitting close by, asking what happened, but he can't tell her. He decides to confide in her about his dreadful secret. He tells her that since he arrived, he has died many times. As soon as he says this, black smoke appears in the room, and something enters his body. Subaru wakes up again, trembling from trauma. Emilia asks if he is alright, but he lies about his condition. Roswell checks on him too, but Subaru stays silent. Betty comes to check on him because Emilia and Puck think she did something to him. Subaru asks her for a favor to keep him safe until tomorrow. Betty makes a contract with him. Subaru thanks her and calls her a little girl, which annoys Betty. She then takes him to the library. In the library, Betty asks him to choose a place where he can be safe. Subaru picks a book and starts reading. After a while, Betty is summoned, and she tells him to stay in the room for his safety. But the stupid guy steps outside, feeling happy to see the sunlight. Emilia comes and asks him to go to the village with her. They hear a scream and find Ram dead in her bed. Subaru rushes to see her, but Rem doesn't let him touch Ram's body. Roswell tells them that a certain magic was used to kill her and asks if Subaru knows anything. Remembering the black smoke, Subaru stays silent. Rem attacks him, demanding the truth to avenge her sister. Betty intervenes, saving Subaru, saying she won't let anyone harm him. Roswell acknowledges the strength of Betty's decision. Rem is still ready to attack Subaru, but Emilia interrupts, saying she trusts him and asks him to tell the truth. Subaru runs away to the jungle, heading to the place where he was killed before. At the cliff, he contemplates jumping to stop everything but sits back, exhausted. Tired of everything, he tries to jump again, thinking, well, this is one way to take the plunge. But Betty saves him. She reminds him of their contract and says he must not die in front of her eyes. She offers to help him escape the domain. Subaru feels relieved, thinking he's finally saved himself and plans to do something good with his life. But then Rem arrives. Betty is determined to protect Subaru, but Rem argues they are too far from the mansion for her to save him. Subaru steps forward, telling Rem he knows nothing and that he loves them. As a final act, he jumps off the cliff, leaving both Betty and Rem yelling at him in anger. Subaru wakes up again and sees the two twins around his bed. He grabs one of their hands and feels something, causing both twins to run away from him.
ちょっと拝借
あ
間違ってなかった。
きっと生まれてきたのが間違いだわ
Emilia enters the room and asks if he is alright, expressing her concern. Subaru reassures her that he is fine since she came to see him. He then goes about his duties, gaining the trust of the staff and Mr. Roswell. After a tiring day, Subaru lies on the ground, and Puck tells him he's working too much. Puck explains how different people use magic differently and reveals that Emilia doesn't use her own magic but instead uses spirits. Subaru asks if he can have his own magic. Puck searches for magic in him and discovers that Subaru's magic is shadow magic. Emilia tells him it's very rare, but Subaru isn't thrilled. To cheer him up, Puck shows him a magic trick called Shamak, which changes the visuals around them within seconds. They decide to help Subaru use his magic. Puck helps him while Emilia stands behind in case anything goes wrong. Puck teaches Subaru to focus the magic and expel it when the time is right. Subaru focuses, and a huge blast occurs, using up all his mana. Emilia gives him a bucko fruit to help him regain his energy. Meanwhile, Roswal is with Ram, asking about Subaru's potential. Roswal wonders how Subaru will fight the shamans. Subaru goes to the library and asks Betty for a book about shamans and if they can undo a curse. Betty says there is no way to undo a curse once it's activated, but mentions she can stop curses before they are activated. She then smells something in the air and comments that the witch's scent is getting stronger. Subaru asks about the witch, and Betty explains that there were 6 of them, with Sadala being the worst, known for her silver hair. Subaru jokingly asks what if someone borrows her name, and Betty says they must be really foolish. Subaru diligently performs his duties and accidentally slips, breaking a vase. He replaces it with another vase and tells Rem he found it where the extras are kept. Rem is suspicious, but Emilia comes to meet Subaru and takes him to a room. She asks him to sit on the floor with her and rests his head on her lap, gently patting him. Subaru insists he is fine, but Emilia keeps asking him gently. Eventually, Subaru starts crying and tells her how hard he has been trying to save everyone. Rem comes to take him, but Emilia says he is sleeping and doesn't want to make him work in this condition. Subaru wakes up in his bed, feeling embarrassed for sleeping on a girl's lap.
It should have been me, not him!
He goes to tell Betty, who is annoyed by his frequent visits. He asks if there is a way to undo curses, and Betty says she can detect a curse before it's cast but mentions the problem of physical contact between the object and the cursor. Subaru realizes how Rem came under attack and finally understands everything. He calls Betty Biku, which annoys her. Then he goes to see the twin girls and asks if they plan to go to the village for restocking. Rem agrees to come with him but jokingly says he will have flowers on his shoulders. Subaru is with the villagers, teaching them exercises as part of his plan. All the villagers have touched him at different times. The big guy patted his hand, an elderly woman patted his back, and the village head patted his shoulders. After that, he tells Ram and Rem that he was playing a game with the villagers. Ram dismisses it, saying she doesn't care. The kids get annoyed at her comment, saying it's very rude. Then a little girl takes Subaru to a small critter stuck somewhere. Subaru jokes that the critter has bitten him 3 times and seems to have a personal grudge against him. When the critter bites him again, he jokes, "I guess I'm not on its Christmas card list." Back at the mansion, Roswal meets the twin maids and Subaru at the gate. He says he has to go out and won't be back tonight. He mentions he has a visitor, which is why he's dressed appropriately, and tells the maids to take care of everything while Subaru looks after Emilia. Then Roswal flies away. Subaru goes to see Betty and tells her he's been cursed. Tired of his antics, Betty stands up and inspects him, confirming the curse. Subaru says he was prepared for this, joking that Puck will cry at his funeral while Emilia will go into shock. He mentions he suspects the curse came from the big guy, the old woman, or the fake village chief. Betty examines him, and black smoke emerges from his hand, indicating where he was cursed. Subaru realizes the critter that bit him might be the source of the curse. He asks the twins to come with him to the village, explaining that the kids might also be cursed since they were playing with the critter. The twins hesitate, citing Roswal's orders, but Subaru reminds them that Roswal also told him to take care of Emilia. Ram then instructs Rem to accompany Subaru while she stays to protect the mansion and Emilia. Emilia overhears their conversation and asks what's happening. Subaru tells her he's going out, and she says a prayer, placing her hand on his chest. They head to the village, where there is chaos as villagers search for the missing kids. Subaru notices the broken fence and deduces that Maybas, the witch's army, might have entered the village. He sends the villagers to gather everyone while he and Rem go to find the kids. Rem initially resists, stating it wasn't Roswal's order to save the kids, but Subaru convinces her by sharing the kids' sweet ambitions. In the forest, they find some unconscious but alive kids. Petra tells Subaru that a girl with braids is missing, likely taken by the Maybasts. Rem cautions Subaru not to do anything reckless. Subaru, holding her hand, promises to trust her if she trusts him. Rem admits that Roswal ordered her to keep an eye on Subaru and warns him not to overdo it. Subaru jokes, "I'm fanatical this time." Subaru spots the girl's feet, rescues her, but then faces a huge wolf-like beast, the same critter that bit him. He fends off the beast and wins, only to see dozens more behind it. He stands protectively in front of the girl. As the first beast is about to attack, Rem arrives and kills it, telling Subaru the kids are safe. Subaru carries the girl while Rem fights the beasts. They run out of the jungle, heading towards the village for safety. Subaru, running ahead, looks back to call Rem and is horrified to see her bitten all over by wolves. More beasts are behind her, led by the critter. Rem, now wounded, is thrown into the air. She then transforms, a horn appearing on her head, and starts tearing through the Maybasts with her newfound power. Subaru is terrified but also determined. He saves Rem from one beast, but others attack him viciously. Rem sits beside Subaru, trying to motivate him to stay alive. Subaru wakes up in a strange room again and sees Emilia sitting nearby. He says she must have saved him once again, so now he owes her one more favor. His body is covered in scars, showing they have healed him. Then Puck appears and sits on his chest, telling him that Rem saved him with her high healing power. Emilia also tried her best to save him. Subaru goes outside and meets Ram, who gives him some delicious food. She tells him that the villagers have gathered together because of the recent incident, and that she has repaired the fence to prevent another Maybast attack. Subaru then goes to see the kids, who are all alright. Betty comes to meet Subaru, and he thanks her for helping heal the kids. Betty takes him aside and tells him that he is still cursed and will die exactly at midday. Subaru asks if the curses on him haven't been lifted. Betty explains that while the first curse was lifted, the Maybasts had placed many curses on him, making it difficult to remove them all. She says the Maybasts extract mana from their targets to activate their spells, which happens at midday. The only way to stop the curse is to kill the one who cast it. Subaru decides not to tell Emilia because she would do anything to save him. Ram overhears this and decides to find her sister, but Subaru stops her, insisting that he will not let her go alone. She tells him she doesn't have her horn and wouldn't be as dangerous, but Subaru insists on accompanying her. In the jungle, Subaru gets exhausted, carrying a sword gifted to him by a young villager. He also carries a special stone candy from the kids and a bug they put in his pocket as a prank. When the kids ask about Ram, who usually doesn't like them, smiles. Ram uses her power to scout the jungle but sees nothing, so they move forward. Meanwhile, Ram is mercilessly killing beasts. Subaru asks Ram why she doesn't have a horn. She explains that all demons are born with 2 horns, but since they were twins, they had only one each, and hers was lost in a mishap. She says if they don't control their powers, they become uncontrollable. Although Rem is more powerful, Ram won't sit back in a situation like this. Subaru thinks of a plan to tell Ram about his return by death, hoping it will draw the beasts to him and eventually bring Rem. As he tries to explain, Ram notes the increasing smell of Maybasts. Subaru points out that the Maybasts are after the witch's scent, so they will come for him and eventually Rem. They are soon surrounded by dozens of Maybasts. Subaru asks Ram if he can rely on her power. She does her best, but eventually, Subaru ends up running from the beasts while carrying Ram. They jump off a cliff, and Subaru tries to grab onto something with the sword, but it breaks. They are about to fall when Ram uses her magic to save them. Just then, the Maybasts reach them along with the critter. Rem flies from the cliff and, instead of attacking the beasts, she attacks Subaru. Subaru jokes, "Rem, you've really gone off the deep end this time." He tries to make her remember him but fails. Rem starts killing the beasts again. As Subaru runs away, Ram wakes up and explains that Rem's horn is making her act like this. Subaru thinks of a plan and throws Ram at Rem, then flies in the sky with the sword before crashing back to the ground. A lot of demons have gathered, planning to dispose of the twins. Suddenly, one of the twins starts crying, and a huge flash of lightning terrifies everyone, saving them from being disposed of. As they grew up, Ram showed great power, summoning water from the sea and making it rain. Their parents were thrilled with her potential, telling Rem to try and be like Ram. But Rem was discouraged by these comments and kept trying to master her potential without much success. Ram told her not to pay attention to others' words. One day, Rem decided to make dinner and Ram offered to help, but Rem wanted to do it herself. They agreed on a menu, and Rem went to the jungle to collect ingredients. A huge flash of lightning appeared in the distance, caused by Rem losing control of her powers. Their parents forbade them from going to the jungle alone after that. At home, their parents praised Rem's cooking. That night, Rem had a terrible dream where everyone told her to die because she was useless. Ram appeared in the dream, taking her hand and telling her she was worth more than that. Ram reassured Rem that she would always be with her. During the day, Rem copied her sister in everything, trying to keep up. One night, Rem noticed Ram was not with her, so she went outside and found the whole village burning. Ram arrived, glad Rem was alright, but broke her own horn while saving her. Rem felt guilty and started following Ram, excelling in everything Ram could do. Despite everyone telling her to slow down, Rem refused to quit, determined to save Ram's life. Then Subaru, using all his leftover brain cells, came up with a plan. He would run in one direction to capture the beast's attention while the others ran the opposite way. When asked why he was doing this, Subaru said, "Because she was my first date." He ran towards the Maybasts, and the critter transformed into a giant beast. Subaru used Shamak and stabbed the critter's chest with his sword, but it didn't die. Roswell arrived very late, but praised the maids for their work. Rem hugged Subaru tightly. Subaru woke up on a bed with Rem holding his hand. He asked if she did this often, and Rem said she held his hand because he looked scared in his dreams. Subaru complimented her, but she called herself a shadow of her sister, cursing herself for being the one with the horn. Subaru listened and reassured her, talking about a positive future. Roswell asked Rem if she found the source of the Maybasts. She said all traces were gone, and one of the village kids was missing. Roswell hinted it might be related to the throne, expressing his determination to win at all costs. He then put Rem to sleep. Subaru talked to Emilia in the garden. Emilia was concerned about why he kept getting injured since arriving at the mansion. She thanked him for everything, and Subaru, ever the opportunist, asked her to go on a date with him instead. Subaru visits the village with Emilia because it's actually a date. Finally, the dumb Subaru has done something that shows his romantic intelligence. He gives snacks to the kids, and they return to the mansion where they meet a chauffeur who apologizes for parking near the garden. Emilia goes inside to see the royal commissary, while Rem tells her that the commissary is discussing crucial matters with Roswell. Subaru promises not to do anything embarrassing, but Emilia goes alone to meet the commissary. Subaru, ever the smooth talker, brings tea to the chauffeur, bragging that it's the most expensive one. The old man asks what Subaru wants, saying he won't spill any secrets until he knows Subaru's rank in the mansion. Subaru blushes and says he's very dear to Emilia. The chauffeur, amused, notes that Subaru must be the one Emilia is close to. Subaru, red-faced, asks how he can propose to Emilia, comparing it to the chauffeur proposing to his wife, thinking she was the most beautiful lady in the world. The chauffeur agrees, adding a bit of old man wisdom. The royal emissary arrives and mentions that Emilia has spoken about Subaru. He asks Emilia if he can join her official visit to help with her royal selection. Rem gives him a cover containing information from important royals, and Subaru is impressed. Roswell agrees that Subaru should go because the emissary, who visited earlier, is the best water magic user and healer in the state, and Subaru could use some treatment. As the emissary and Subaru travel in the cart, Felix jokes with the chauffeur about liking Subaru, but the old man says he can read many things from a person's eyes, hinting that Subaru has faced death multiple times. The emissary laughs, recalling Wilhelm van Astria's words. Subaru and Emilia go to the market, stopping to eat some fruit. Subaru suggests buying some for Felt, and they head to the guard station to meet Reinhard. When Subaru asks about the royal selection, Emilia shuts him down, reminding him they came for his sake. At the front gate, Reinhard is pleased to see Emilia and kisses her hand, which Subaru doesn't like. Emilia asks Reinhard to work as her agent. While waiting, Subaru sees a girl being harassed by 3 boys in an alley. He tries to help, but the girl smashes his head into a wall, saying she doesn't need help. Subaru scares off the boys by mentioning Reinhard. Big man Rom appears, asking if Subaru has seen Felt, and Subaru tells him she went with Reinhard. The boys run away, and Emilia arrives with a knight. Subaru jokingly tells the knight not to hit on his girl. The other girl leaves with the knight, while Subaru and Emilia head back. On the way, the girl asks about Subaru's bag, and he gives her an appa. Emilia asks if he knows the girl, teasing him about being jealous. They return to the mansion, and Subaru says he has to stay for the night. Emilia asks Rem to keep an eye on him and leaves. Subaru, unable to resist helping Emilia, asks Rem if he can go out. Rem pretends to be busy with the appas and lets him sneak out. Subaru can't find a way to the palace, but luck strikes when Priscilla offers him a ride, saying she wants to do something interesting. At the castle, Priscilla acts close to Subaru, but Emilia knows he's there to help her. She scolds him, but the wise men arrive, and Emilia promises to talk after the ceremony. During the ceremony, Felix meets Subaru, who is surprised to learn that Felix is a man.
Game is game.
The ceremony starts, and one candidate dismisses unnecessary details. Lord Miklatov insists on protocol, and Marcos begins, announcing a prophecy about appointing a new priestess. Reinhard brings forward the 5th candidate, and to everyone's surprise, it's Felt. Felt reaches the center of the hall and angrily hits Reinhard, blaming him for everything. When Subaru tries to talk to her, she hits him too. Reinhard introduces Felt to everyone, explaining that she used to live in the slums and he had been taking care of her. However, the people in the hall start looking down on Felt for her background. Felt, being tough, argues back with everyone. One of the candidates makes a negative comment, and Felt is ready to fight. Just then, Marco starts the ceremony and asks the candidates to introduce themselves. The first candidate is Priscilla, who thinks she's superior, and demands everyone bow to her and give her the throne. Her knight is Owl. Next is Crush Karsten, whose attendant is Felix. She claims the kingdom belongs to them, not the dragons. Anastasia, the next candidate, calls herself a greedy girl who wants everything.
What?
Her knight is Julius. Then Emilia, the 4th candidate, wants equal rights for everyone. Her attendant is Roswell. Finally, Felt stands there, arguing that she doesn't want to be part of this silly game. Her attendant is Reinhard. The authorities disapprove of Emilia as a candidate because she is a half-elf. As she is about to leave the hall quietly, Subaru steps in and shuts everyone down. Emilia stops him from saying more and gives a brief introduction. The authorities ask who Subaru is, and he claims to be Emilia's knight. Julius challenges this, but Subaru admits he doesn't have the skills but is vouching for Emilia anyway. Emilia then takes Subaru out of the room, saying he doesn't belong with her. The ceremony officially starts, but then dark smoke appears, and a big man, Rom, takes Felt on his shoulders. The guards try to stop him, but Felt tells them to stop, saying Rom is her only family. They agree to let her join the ceremony if she respects Rom. Meanwhile, Julius challenges Subaru to a wooden sword fight. The crowd cheers as they fight, but Subaru, not being very skilled, struggles. A knight rushes in to report the fight to the hall. Anastasia doesn't want to stop it, knowing Julius is very good. Emilia runs to the fighting grounds and saves Subaru. When Subaru wakes up, she asks why he's been doing all this, as she never asked him to. Subaru says he did it all for her, but Emilia accuses him of doing it for himself. Hurt by her words, Subaru says she should repay him. Emilia acknowledges she owes him many favors and promises to repay him, then leaves while Subaru cries on the bed. By the way, when Subaru got hit, he thought he might be dreaming. But it was a nightmare in real life. And when Ramtuk felt on his shoulders, it wasn't a surprise, he's always been good at lifting spirits. Subaru is practicing with the old man. While fighting, his mind replays his last conversation with Emilia. After practicing with all his power, he lays on the ground. The old man asks if he wants to quit, but Subaru says he does not. Julius watches from a window. Felix comments that Julius's goodness is only being used here and that he is merely acting as a villain, even though he isn't one. Felix adds that Julius has done everything according to his own wishes. Meanwhile, Reinhard goes to apologize to Subaru for not stopping the fight. But Subaru tells him he should be sorry. He asks Reinhard to return to his lady. Subaru goes inside the mansion and starts practicing again. Rem stays with him when he gets tired. He lays his head on Rem's lap and falls asleep. Rem is pleased to see him trusting her. In the market, a crowd has gathered for the royal selection. Subaru asks a shopkeeper why he is so interested in the selection. He sees someone with Rem on the street, but the shopkeeper tells Subaru that nobody will trust Emilia because she is a witch. People are afraid of witches. However, Subaru is hopeful about her ruling the kingdom. The shopkeeper tells him that Emilia will need to gain the trust of the people. There is something Emilia isn't telling Subaru, and Subaru is not understanding it, leaving him feeling stuck. At night, Crush offers Subaru to sit with her as the night is beautiful. He says he won't drink, so she offers him water. She tells him that her family is collecting objects and there have been many proposals for her. She explains that Wilhelm only serves her. Then Felix comes and asks Crush why she is wearing a dress like that. Felix also says that Subaru has already given his heart to Emilia. She advises Subaru to be strong because she doesn't want to fight an incompetent enemy. Felix advises him to do something that nobody else can do, motivating Subaru to work even harder. Subaru practices with even more dedication. Rem then comes and takes Subaru inside. Rem tells them she sensed a bad energy from the mansion sent by her sister. The emissary also reports something bad is about to happen at Roswell's mansion. Subaru says he must go and save Emilia. Rem stops him from going, and Crush also prevents him, warning that if he leaves the castle, he will become her enemy. Despite this, Subaru insists on going to see Emilia. On the way, Rem tells him they will have to take a detour due to dangerous white fog. Rem thanks the old man for letting them use the carriage, and they ride away. While riding, Subaru asks Rem how strong the signal was, but she replies that their power has limits. She then stops the carriage, saying the dragon is scared to go any further, so they stay in a hostel for the night. Late at night, Rem visits Subaru, saying she can't sleep and suggests they talk. She then puts him to sleep. When Subaru wakes up, it is very late and Rem has already gone. He goes to the entrance of the hostel and finds a letter. In the letter, Rem says it will be very dangerous for him to go to the mansion and requests he wait until she returns. However, Subaru finds a boy named Otto and rides in his carriage. On the way, the carriage dragon gets scared and Otto says they cannot go any further. He asks Subaru not to continue, but Subaru, like an old lady who won't listen, heads toward the mansion alone. On the way, he encounters some men in veils.
Hey, yo, what the?
When he reaches a town, he sees a pile of dead people and finds Rem dead on the ground. Subaru goes to the mansion and finds that Rem has been killed and hundreds of others have already died. He is terrified and doesn't know what to do. He runs from room to room, desperately looking for any living person, but finds no one. His vision blurs and he sees a figure in a cloak.
もう遅すぎたんだよ。
Suddenly, he wakes up and finds himself standing in front of a fruit shop. The shopkeeper asks where his senses are. Poor Subaru always seems to be getting tossed from one nightmare to another. When Rem arrives, Subaru hugs her, crying. She takes him to his room, where Felix inspects him and confirms that Subaru has not been cursed and has no physical injuries. Rem decides to take Subaru to the mansion. At the gate, she tells them that he only says Emilia's name, her name, and her sister's name. She believes that seeing Emilia will make him feel better. Subaru is deeply worried about not finding Emilia, fearing that something might have happened to her. Crush comments to Rem about her strong bond with her master. Rem bids farewell and rides the carriage. Halfway there, she stops to rest and admits that she likes being alone with Subaru, wanting to be with him all the time and protect him from trouble. In the morning, while they are riding, Rem is suddenly hit by a wave, causing the cart to slip and everyone to fall. They are attacked with great force and many men in robes appear. One of them takes Subaru away. Rem transforms into her demon form and starts fighting the attackers. Subaru, confused and scared, is taken to another location by the robed men. He meets the Sin Archbishop, who reveals they attacked Subaru because he was loved by everyone. The Archbishop, from another world, tortures Subaru with a sinister song, aiming to terrify him. Subaru is helpless and cries while the devil worshippers mock him. After a while, Rem arrives and declares she will kill them all. She fights bravely, using all her power, and finally defeats the devils.
なんだぞ
Tragically, Rem is killed in the fight, having saved Subaru but sacrificing herself.
シバルくん
Subaru is devastated to see Rem dead. He feels unworthy, thinking he has failed to save anyone despite his efforts. He takes Rem's body and walks back to the mansion, feeling utterly defeated. When he reaches the mansion, it is filled with ice. Subaru doesn't understand where the ice has come from but lacks the energy or time to find out. Suddenly, Subaru's head falls off.
我が娘と共に
Subaru goes to the mansion and meets Russell Fellow, the treasurer of the merchant guilds. Russell is responsible for managing the internal and external financial affairs of the royals. After their meeting, Russell leaves in his carriage. Wilhelm then tells Subaru that Russell is quite important. Subaru meets Crush and tells her about the impending attack on the village by the witch cult, who will kill everyone. Crush asks why Subaru is sharing this information with her, and he explains that he has helped them before. Crush then asks what Subaru's benefit is in all this. Subaru says he will owe her a favor, but she demands Emilia's withdrawal from the royal selection in return for helping him save the villagers. Subaru hesitates but eventually agrees, thinking that if Emilia dies, she won't need to compete. However, Crush still doesn't agree, predicting Emilia will eventually lose her bid for the throne. Subaru tries to make Crush understand the severity of the witch cult's threat, but she accuses him of being part of the cult, doubting how he knows such details. She asks Rem if she has seen any witchcraft activities, but Rem denies it. Emotional, Subaru tries to persuade her, but they decide to find a new plan when Roswell is unavailable for help. Subaru decides to approach other candidates. He sends Rem to the night station and goes to Priscilla, explaining the situation. Priscilla, only interested in winning the royal title, says it's better if everyone else dies. She agrees to help only if Subaru licks her foot. Desperate, Subaru agrees, but just as he's about to, Priscilla pushes him against the wall, mocking his loyalty. She then calls a guard to throw him out. The guard remarks that their discussion didn't go well. Subaru then meets Mimi and Anastasia in the market. Anastasia takes him to a restaurant where he asks about getting a carriage. She tells him that all the carriages have already been sold but gives him an address to find one. Mimi asks if she can eat more, and Anastasia tells her to eat as much as she likes. Joking, if you keep eating like that, we might need a carriage just for you. Mimi goes to the barista to order her favorite food. Anastasia mentions that there has been a lot of movement in town, with many items moving to the capital and a change in the value of goods. She notes that Crush is buying many war instruments. Subaru tells her about the visitors to Crush's place, including the royal finance advisor. Anastasia finds this information valuable, and Subaru realizes she only wanted the intel. At the night station, Rem warns about the great threat, but they don't take her seriously. Subaru decides to go to Roswell or the capital with Emilia. They take a carriage and start moving, but Otto stops them on the way, sitting with other villagers in a camp. They ask if it's safe for Subaru to travel such a long distance, but Subaru insists he must go. Otto mentions he has brought a large stock of oil, and Subaru buys it, taking all the carriages. They need to relocate many civilians. While traveling, Subaru checks the map on his mobile phone, surprising Otto and the others. Suddenly, Subaru realizes his bandana is missing and Otto says no one was driving on the left side. Subaru flashes the light of his mobile to the left and screams when he sees a big eye. A beast was floating behind them. This beast was huge and almost invisible, but the sounds it made were terrifying. Thanks to Otto being with Subaru, otherwise, Subaru would have probably lost his nerve. Otto identified the beast as a white whale. They tried to escape, but no matter what they did, the whale kept following them. Rem came up with a plan to distract the whale while they escaped. Subaru didn't want her to do this, but Rem insisted there was no other way. Subaru begged her not to go, but Rem, smarter than Subaru, knew this was the only option. She put him to sleep and flew towards the whale, asking Otto to take care of Subaru, not for payment, but for survival. Subaru woke up and asked Otto where Rem was. Otto told him she had gone to fight the whale to save them. Subaru, realizing how weak she was, wanted to save her and tried to jump from the carriage, but Otto stopped him. Otto then said he didn't know any Rem. The white whale's smoke had the power to make people forget others, which Subaru wasn't aware of. Desperate, Subaru grabbed Otto by the collar, demanding how he could forget Rem, who had sacrificed herself for them. Despite their efforts, the white whale kept following them. Otto suggested the whale might be following a lead, and Subaru mentioned it could be a Maybest. Hearing this, Otto threw Subaru towards the white whale. Subaru fell into a pit, scared and terrified, nearly losing control. He cried, saying he didn't want to die when he saw a girl's shadow. She rescued him from the pit. Subaru woke up in the mansion with Ram sitting nearby. He asked her about Rem, but Ram seemed confused and asked what had happened in the capital. Subaru asked again about Rem, but Ram insisted she didn't know her. Shocked, Subaru took Ram to their room, but there was only one bed. He then went to see Emilia and told her they needed to leave immediately or they'd be in great danger. Emilia thought Subaru had lost his mind and didn't believe him. Desperate to make her understand, Subaru told her about his ability to return by death. Black smoke filled the room, and a dark hand touched Subaru's heart, causing Emilia to die in front of him. Betty appeared and told Subaru that Bubby wouldn't die but would change its form and come back in its original form. Betty took Emilia's necklace, breaking it in half, and threw Subaru and Emilia into a dark pit. In the pit, Subaru saw the devil cult once again, terrified at their sight. The devil cult was dreadful, and Subaru, feeling weak and helpless, could only cry and cry. Puck appears from nowhere and saves Subaru from the devil's spirit. But this isn't the regular Puck, he has transformed into a massive monster. Even Subaru is terrified to see Puck in this form. Puck, now much bigger and stronger, uses his strength to save Subaru. Without Puck's intervention, Subaru would have been crushed like a tomato. Puck attacks and smashes the devil, but the devil re-emerges and attacks Puck. Puck then changes shape again, becoming an even bigger monster, and the devil spirit, having never seen anything like this, eventually dies. Puck then turns to Subaru and accuses him of breaking 3 rules, breaking a promise, not respecting Emilia's orders, and letting Emilia die. He tells Subaru he is useless and should die. Subaru then wakes up in the real world and sees Rem. He takes Rem and tells her about his plan to run away to another country. He asks her to come with him, saying that staying in this country is pointless as he cannot find a way to stop the bloodshed. He proposes they move to Kararagi, rent a small place, and live together. Subaru imagines a future where he comes home to Rem every day, promising to give everything to her. He envisions her getting a good job thanks to her education from Roswell, while he works a minimum wage job. Together, they would build a home and possibly have a child. Half human and half devil. He dreams of them being known as the lovebirds in the neighborhood, even in front of their children and grandchildren.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
However, Rem tells him she cannot leave because if she did, she would lose the Subaru she loves. She encourages him, saying he has never given up on anything and never abandoned Emilia, her sister, or Roswell, which is his specialty. But Subaru, feeling like his old, foolish self, insists he has done nothing worthwhile and has always been pathetic. He admits he was only pretending to try, pushing himself just to say he did, and feels embarrassed about what people think of him. Rem reassures him, saying she likes him very much and that he can trust her. She loves his personality, the way he pats her hair, his eyes, and his voice. One word from him can make her day. Subaru, still feeling small and weak, calls himself a failure. But Rem reminds him that he saved her when she was attacked by Maybasts in the jungle and again by making himself a diversion. He has always been warm towards them. Subaru says Rem doesn't understand, but she declares her love for him, calling him her hero. Subaru then admits he loves Emilia and wants to see her succeed.
No! No! No!
He asks Rem if she can help him become the best hero. Rem agrees, saying they can start from zero, marking the beginning of Subaru's new story. Subaru is talking to Rem, telling her about his plan to make everyone allies. He explains that the witch cult will soon attack and asks for her help, to which she nods in agreement. Subaru then goes to meet Crush, asking her to form an alliance with Emilia. Crush is surprised, and Subaru offers information on the time and location of the white whale's attack in return. He also mentions the mining rights of magic stones found in Elior Forest within Roswell's territory. Crush, still hesitant, asks for proof. Subaru promises to inform them through the Mesha. After some negotiation, Crush agrees. Anastasia and Russell then join the discussion. Anastasia expresses her interest in joining the fight against the white whale, while Russell, representing the merchant tribe, insists that Crush cannot have the mining rights all to herself. Crush reluctantly agrees to the plan. Wilhelm introduces himself as Wilhelm of Astria, revealing that his wife was taken by the white whale. He feels privileged to fight it, thanks to Subaru. Crush warns Subaru not to lie, but he insists he already knew all this. That night, Subaru sees everyone preparing for the battle against the white whale. Feliz advises him to rest, but Subaru remains focused on the task. He states that the white whale will appear at Flugel's tree. Feliz warns they have limited time to get there. Subaru selects a dragon for himself from many gathered and, after some teasing from Feliz, says goodbye. In the hall, many people have gathered. Subaru meets a representative of Crush who approves of the plan. A group of retired knights, called in by Wilhelm, also arrives to help. Subaru notes that many have a history with the white whale. Crush gives a motivational speech and they head to Flugel's tree. On the way, Subaru meets Mimi and her sister Hetero, as well as Ricardo, who assures they will reach the tree in time. Ricardo motivates them with encouraging words before leaving to assist others. After traveling for a while, they reach Flugel's tree, an enormous tree, larger than any they have seen. Rem wonders how the white whale will appear there, and Subaru says he will make himself an attraction for the whale. He explains that the Mesha will ring when the white whale arrives. Rem, skeptical, tells Subaru he is amazing nonetheless. They find Wilhelm near the flowers, and he speaks lovingly about his wife. Wilhelm shares that she was sweet and sensitive, loved flowers, but was taken by the white whale. He regrets not spending more time with her while he was busy being the best swordsman. Wilhelm hopes that after killing the white whale, he can visit her grave in peace. Everyone gathers around Flugel's tree, and soon the Mesha starts ringing. Moments later, the white whale appears. Rem attacks the whale, tearing it apart, causing its parts to fall. The battle has begun. A beautiful woman is sitting on a rock. She is actually Wilhelm's wife, but young and stunning now. Any guy who saw her would be unable to look away. Young and ambitious, Wilhelm, who dreams of becoming a great sword master, arrives there to practice. He asks the girl why she is there so early in the morning. She invites him to come closer and see. He notices a lot of flowers in front of her, and she looks genuinely happy admiring them. She asks if he doesn't like flowers. Wilhelm thinks of his beloved wife, remembering how kind and delicate she was and how deeply he loved her. His loss was greater than anyone's, fueling his determination to kill the white whale. Wilhelm attacks the white whale with all his power, joined by the troops who direct white mana at it. Mimi and Hetero attack from one side, while Wilhelm cuts the whale viciously with his sword. Subaru, watching from the ground, decides that acting as a decoy would ruin their plans, so he opts to watch for now. Feliz, tired of just watching, comments that she has no role in this, but Subaru insists that everyone has a part to play. They see Wilhelm mercilessly attacking the whale, even cutting out its big eye. Ricardo attacks from another side, making it difficult for the whale to defend itself. Despite the powerful attacks, the whale keeps floating in the sky. The whale releases black smoke, blurring their vision and causing the troops to start losing men. Subaru realizes the smoke can erase memories. The fog affects the soldiers, making them act crazy, but Feliz heals them one by one. Subaru comes up with a plan. He tells Crush he will distract the white whale to buy time for regrouping. Crush orders the soldiers to gather at the tree base. Subaru and Rem, riding a dragon, attract the whale by reeking with the witch's smell due to Subaru's ability. The whale follows them, and just as they are about to be swallowed, Rem saves them. Wilhelm attacks the whale again, joined by Mimi, Hetero, and the captain. They attack repeatedly, but Wilhelm notices the whale isn't fighting with full power. The whale then sheds them onto the ground. Wilhelm, seeing a flower, recalls telling his wife that he had become a knight, making her happy. He also remembers the destruction and how he was saved by a girl, who was actually Derja herself. He acknowledges Derja as the real master swordsman. She angrily walks away when Wilhelm insists she won't destroy the beauty of the sword. Wilhelm notices the flower and thinks, great, now I'm having flashbacks during a monster battle. Perfect timing. Meanwhile, Subaru sees something unbelievable. 3 white whales floating in the sky, all equally big and terrifying. He is very scared, as no one had imagined dealing with 3 white whales at once. Subaru mutters, just when I thought it couldn't get worse. It's a whale of a problem now. Everyone is worried to see the 3 white whales. Rem goes to confront the massive beasts, and Subaru fights as best as he can. Crush tells him to be quiet and says Wilhelm might have gone missing in the fog. Everything now depends on Rem's fighting skills. Subaru senses something strange about the situation, but Crush insists they must act. Retreating is not an option, and she rallies the troops to fight, though they are shocked to see 3 whales. Crush attacks one whale alone, while Rem repeatedly assaults another. Subaru runs toward a whale, realizing that sheer willpower isn't enough to defeat this giant monster. Mimi arrives and tells Subaru that the others have been healed. Subaru asks about Ricardo, and Mimi says her sister took him to Feliz. Though it was a struggle, Ricardo managed to lighten the situation. Subaru, confused, wonders what's light about it. Suddenly, Rem bores into the whale's body, and Wilhelm emerges alive but unconscious. Crush talks to Subaru about the situation, and Subaru, using his brain for a change, comes up with a plan. He tells Crush that they don't need to take down all 3 whales, just the one creating doubles from the sky. This one won't come down, as it can't risk being killed. Crush agrees to take care of the other 2 while Subaru targets the real one. The whales reach the troops, and the soldiers fear for their lives, unsure of what to do. Crush motivates them, pointing out that Subaru, the weakest among them, is still fighting. Inspired, the soldiers attack. An old soldier strikes the whale's mouth, and the rest follow. Meanwhile, Subaru lands on the real whale and, after some struggle, brings it to the ground. They cut down a huge tree, trapping the whale beneath it. Wilhelm recalls a sword fight with his wife, where he won and promised to take care of her. He then attacks the whale, cutting it into pieces. As he finishes, he declares it was for his wife. When the whale finally dies, Crush acknowledges Wilhelm's victory. Wilhelm visits his wife's grave and tells her he loves her. Crush then mentions taking the whale's carcass to the capital. Subaru, saddened by the loss of so many people, emphasizes the need to bring everyone back. Wilhelm thanks Subaru for giving him the chance to kill the whale and offers his help. Subaru tells Rem not to overexert herself. She hugs him, saying she wants to be there for him when no one else is. Subaru insists she rest and heal. In the end, only the captain, Mimi, and Subaru remain. Subaru, feeling he hasn't contributed enough, declares he wants to help on the battlefield. The captain mentions another group of mercenaries blocking the road, led by Mimi's brother Tevi. But when Subaru sees Julius with them, he isn't pleased. Subaru sees Julius and feels irritated but still thanks him for coming to help. Julius corrects him, saying he hasn't come to help and that his name is Julie, not Julius. They all sit together and plan their next move. Subaru warns that the witch cult will attack Roswell Mansion soon and suggests they strike first to end the cult forever. They wonder if the white whale and the witch cult are connected but lack proof. Julie reassures them anyway. Subaru says they must relocate the villagers with the help of Russell and Anastasia. He wants to win the battle by raiding the witch cult before they get attacked. Julie again corrects Subaru, emphasizing his name is Julie, not Julius. On the way, Julie thanks Subaru for killing the white whale, explaining that they have suffered for centuries because of it, and now they are free thanks to Subaru. Subaru apologizes for what happened afterward, but Julie calls it a mistake. He then states he doesn't want to form a friendly alliance. They continue forward. Meanwhile, Emilia is disturbed, and Puck tells her to rest, but she refuses, feeling low. Subaru is in a jungle, searching for witch cult members. One appears before him, welcoming Subaru. Subaru has a plan for this devil. The devil asks why Subaru is there, saying the gospel didn't mention this. Subaru pretends he lost his gospel, making the devil suspicious. The devil attacks, but before he can hurt Subaru, Mimi and Hitaro arrive, burying the devil in stones. Wilhelm then attacks from behind, cutting the devil in half. Mimi and Hitaro search the body, finding a gospel. Subaru takes the book but can't understand it. Mimi explains it's sacred witchcraft, only given to high-ranking devils. Subaru decides to keep the book to learn more. They discuss confirming if Beetlejuice is dead and realize 9 of the fingers are dead. Subaru checks to ensure Beetlejuice is actually dead. Mimi attacks the corpse with a flash, and they meet other troops, who inform Subaru they've also taken down 2 cults. Suddenly, hands grab and kill some soldiers. Subaru is taken by one hand, which turns out to be a fake Beetlejuice, one of his fingers. Subaru, tired of the witchcraft, demands the devil find his gospel. Angrier, the devil is about to kill Subaru when a spirit saves him. Wilhelm finishes off the fake archbishop and asks Subaru if there are more Beetlejuices. Subaru says there might be more, and they need to take them all down. They decide to evacuate the village quickly. Felice suggests moving everyone to a safe place but suddenly remembers something important. Everything vanishes, and Subaru sees Ram. Subaru finds himself in a field of flowers, unable to distinguish between reality and imagination. He thinks he must be dreaming and hasn't actually died. He spots a small flower and tells himself it can't be real. Then, a small spirit arrives and breaks the spell. Subaru wakes up to see people crying in pain. Julie stands next to him, explaining that only they managed to break the spell. Subaru asks if the small spirits helped him too, and Julie shows him the agony of everyone else. It becomes crucial to break the spell to save the others. Ram appears, and Subaru asks why she's doing this. She says Subaru hasn't followed Roswell's orders and started a war with them. Subaru insists he sent a letter to the mansion, but Ram received a blank letter from the capital, which means a declaration of war. Subaru denies doing this, saying he's too weak for such actions. Ram believes him, and they reach the village. Subaru tries to warn the villagers about the witch cult's impending attack and urges them to evacuate, but they get upset, thinking it's because of the half-elf he wants to elect as ruler. They tell Subaru to leave them alone, but Ram intervenes, ordering the villagers to evacuate on Roswell's orders. The villagers comply, and Subaru thanks Ram for covering for him. A little girl asks Subaru to save the girl with silver hair, who tried to help the villagers but was ignored. Ram says Emilia will be bothered by the villagers' words, but Subaru believes she won't be. Emilia tried to convince the villagers to accept her help, and when they didn't listen, she repaired the fence to protect them. Subaru then talks to Julie, asking him to accompany him to the mansion. Julie agrees and explains he is a night spirit. Subaru asks if he used the red spirit on him, and Julie reveals he has the potential to command high spirits. Subaru admits he's never used spirits but is friends with a cat spirit. Subaru asks Felice to come to the mansion to help convince Emilia. Felice captures a witch spy, but the spy self-destructs. When Subaru wakes up, he sees Felice in rugged clothes. Felice jokes about not being able to get new clothes by magic. Suddenly, they are attacked by witch hands, and Wilhelm saves them, though he gets injured. The devil's hand that hit Wilhelm self-destructs. They try to save Wilhelm, but another hand appears, confused about Wilhelm's survival. Subaru shows the hand the gospel, leading it into the forest. He tells the hand the forest is filled with Maybas that will kill it within seconds, while he carries a protection stone. Subaru returns to find the town in chaos, with devils slaughtering people. Emilia arrives and starts killing the devils, who are delighted to see her. Subaru wants to help Emilia, but Felice stops him. Emilia and Puck handle the devils, killing them all. Julie declares they've taken care of all the fingers. Felice sends Subaru to meet Emilia, but as soon as the spirit leaves his body, Subaru becomes possessed. He runs into the jungle to avoid hurting Emilia and others. Feliz and Julie chase him, but he's beyond saving. Feliz decides they must take drastic measures. Julie hesitates but raises his sword. A loud thump echoes in the forest, and Emilia is shocked. Subaru is speaking to the crowd when he has a vision. The Sin Archbishop can control anyone's body. They gather to discuss the situation, and Julius confirms Subaru's vision, adding that the Sin Archbishop can indeed control bodies and that the fingers are merely copies of him. If they kill all the fingers, the Archbishop will die. Subaru then asks what happens if the Archbishop controls his body, leaving the crowd shocked. Meanwhile, Emilia feels terrible while dreaming about the villagers' harsh words. She wakes up to Puck wishing her a good morning, encouraging her to forget the villagers' comments. Emilia, strong as ever, assures him she hasn't taken it to heart. Puck reminds her that he is always with her, no matter what. Concerned for the villagers' welfare, Emilia goes to meet Wilhelm. He tells her she might have received a fake letter from his master. She confirms she received a blank letter, and Wilhelm explains it was a fake. The real letter never reached the mansion. He warns that the witch cult will soon attack, and they need to evacuate the village. Emilia worries about the difficulty of evacuating everyone. Subaru, wearing a hooded robe, arrives at the mansion and informs Emilia that the witch cult is near, and the situation could worsen. They work together to evacuate the village. Emilia watches the villagers leave in carriages. Some children approach her, ready to evacuate. Emilia suggests they take a different carriage, but Subaru manipulates her to stay with the kids. After a while, Emilia is left with the children. Subaru spots a strange man with a mecha in the forest, knowing he is associated with the witch cult. Subaru and his group attack the man and take his mecha, revealing him as a spy. With more time to evacuate and save Emilia, Subaru vows to crush the fingers soon. In town, Emilia leaves with the kids. Feliz praises Subaru for using the robe to deceive Emilia, revealing it was handmade by Roswell. Feliz also commends Subaru for convincing the villagers to evacuate, which was crucial. The captain arrives, joking that he'll retire if he messes up, and credits the map for helping them block the cult's communication. Mimi and her troop arrive, having eliminated all enemies and captured a man named Otto. Subaru confronts the Sin Archbishop, who has been waiting for him and welcomes him with a hug. The Archbishop explains that Emilia is merely a backup option. The witch will decide if she can control Emilia's body. If not, they'll find another host. Furious that they are using Emilia as a secondary option, Subaru shows the Archbishop the mecha and they launch a surprise attack. The enraged Archbishop retaliates, but Subaru escapes on his dragon. Along the way, Mimi and her troop save him from the Archbishop's attacks. They settle on a mountain, determined to end it all. The Archbishop realizes Subaru was deceiving him. Julius arrives, and now the Archbishop must fight both of them. Subaru thanks Julius for coming to help. Instead of killing the Archbishop right away, they engage in a lighthearted conversation. Subaru vows not to lose anyone this time. The Archbishop attacks, but they use a magic trick, blinding him. Subaru and Julius share a collective body, combining their strength to defeat the Archbishop. Julius and Subaru continue fighting the devil, sharing a body, so when the devil hits Julius, Subaru feels the pain too. Subaru uses a magic stone while Julius fights bravely. The devil can't get rid of them, and finally, the devil dies, its soul flying to the sky. In the sky, the devil meets the witch, who rejects him, leaving the devil sad. However, the devil succeeds in possessing Subaru's body. Subaru sees all of this and Julius informs him that they have a problem. Feliz has sent a message. When they arrive, they find the carriage carrying gemstones is empty. Everyone is worried. Subaru asks about Emilia, and they assure him she is safely traveling with the kids. Subaru decides to catch the gem carriage on the highway, but Feliz warns it won't be easy. Otto suggests he can make a fair trade, and Subaru agrees to do anything to get the stones back. Meanwhile, Emilia is sitting in the carriage, traveling to a safe place. Subaru tells Julius to rest, as Feliz says Julius's mana hasn't fully recovered. Subaru and Otto take a shortcut through the jungle. Subaru praises Otto for learning the creature's language, and Otto explains that everything from dragons to bugs makes sound. Suddenly, all the birds vanish, and Otto says something is coming. Subaru sees the devil's hands lingering behind the carriage and instructs Otto not to stop. Emilia's carriage is also attacked by the devil. While Wilhelm fights off the devils, Emilia wants to help, but the kids stop her, saying Subaru told them to never let her fight. Back with Subaru, he uses a little life spirit to burn the devil's face, making it scream and cry. Subaru throws the gospel to the devil, then hits it and gets rid of it. Otto tells him they are leaving the jungle. After traveling for a while, they meet the other carriages. Wilhelm says they must move straight to the tree. Emilia, stunned, doesn't understand why Subaru is doing all this. As she wonders, Subaru jumps into her carriage, takes the gems, and leaves. He tells Emilia he loves her and moves away. Subaru then rides his dragon, but a concerned voice is heard. Emilia sees Subaru lying on the ground and rushes to him, him, only to find he is fine. Subaru wakes up and asks how everything turned out. Emilia says she should be the one asking that question. Subaru inquires about his dragon, and Emilia says it was burned but will be alright. Subaru jokes, well, I feel like I've just woken up from a really bad dream, one where I couldn't find my other sock. Emilia asks why he did all this. Subaru explains it was because she saved him. Emilia corrects him, saying it was actually Subaru who saved her. Subaru confesses he did it all for himself. Emilia apologizes, and Subaru tells her he really loves her. Emilia admits that no one has ever liked her because she looks like the witch. Subaru, with a grin, replies, well, I'm not just anybody. He assures her that no matter what anyone says, he will still love her. Emilia says she wants to rule the land, and Subaru tells her she is kind and capable of doing so. That concludes the anime recap. As always, if you enjoyed, let me know down below, and I'm out.